Arms of freedom, eyes like a storm, his resolve unwavering, steadfast and warm. Evil whispers within him, constant and sly, beware.
Previously in Chapter 1, haunted by guilt over his sister Zara's tragic death, Armaan seizes the chance to rewrite the past using a mysterious device. Transported back in time, he reunites with Zara, savoring her laughter and preventing the accident that claimed her life. For a moment, it seems he has changed fate, but the device's ominous hum reminds him that his actions may have unintended consequences. As joy mingles with dread, Armaan realizes that fate is not so easily unraveled, and his fight to protect Zara has just begun. The sun rose the next day, casting golden rays through the window and stirring Armaan from a restless sleep. He blinked against the light, the memories of yesterday flooding back to him in waves, Zara's laughter, the warmth of home, the device that hummed ominously in his pocket. He sat up, rubbing his eyes, and took a deep breath. Today, he promised himself he would make sense of it all. After breakfast, he found Zara in the backyard, her easel set up beside the blooming flowers. She was lost in the vibrant strokes of her brush, painting the world as she saw it. Armaan watched her for a moment, a pang of nostalgia hitting him.
Zara, that's beautiful.
He called out, stepping closer. She turned, her face lighting up with a smile that warmed his heart.
Thanks, brother. But it's not finished yet.
What are you painting?
He asked, leaning over to examine the canvas.
It's the sky. I want to show how it looks when the sun sets. You know, all those colors mixing together?
It's perfect.
He replied, though his mind was elsewhere. The device buzzed softly in his pocket, a reminder that his world was fragile.
Can I help?
Sure. You can be my assistant. Just don't mess it up.
She joked, sticking her tongue out playfully. He chuckled, grabbing a brush and dipping it into the paint.
I promise. I won't ruin your masterpiece.
As they worked together, Armaan tried to push aside the anxiety that nagged at him. But the hum of the device grew louder in his mind, a constant reminder that he had to figure out what to do next.
Brother?
Zara's voice interrupted his thoughts, pulling him back to the moment.
What's wrong? You seem distracted.
Just thinking about stuff.
He replied, forcing a smile.
Stuff like what? On. Stuff like what?
She pressed, tilting her head, her eyes searching his face.
Like how amazing you are, and how lucky I am to have you.
Zara rolled her eyes, but a blush crept up her cheeks.
Okay, now you're just being cheesy.
Cheesy is my specialty.
He quipped, trying to lighten the mood. But as they painted, his thoughts drifted back to the device. He needed to know more about its effects, about what he had changed by saving her.
Zara, have you ever thought about how things might be different if you hadn't been here yesterday?
Her brow furrowed in confusion.
What do you mean?
Just if something had gone wrong. If I hadn't been able to stop it.
She paused, the brush hovering above the canvas.
Why would you say that? You did stop it.
Yeah, but what if there's a catch? What if saving you means I lost something else?
Zara set her brush down, concern etching her features.
Brother, you're scaring me. What are you talking about?
I don't want to lose you again.
He confessed, the words tumbling out before he could stop them.
Brother, you won't lose me. I'm right here. You saved me. We're together now, and that's all that matters.
He wanted to believe her, but the weight of the device pressed against him, and he couldn't shake the feeling that he was being watched by forces he couldn't understand.
Let's take a break,
he suggested, trying to change the subject.
Want to grab some ice cream?
Yes! I've been craving chocolate chip mint.
She said, her eyes sparkling with excitement.
Then let's go.
He grabbed her hand, pulling her toward the gate, the device forgotten for a moment in the thrill of being with his sister. As they walked through the neighborhood, laughter bubbled between them. The streets were alive with the sounds of children playing and neighbors chatting. But as they approached the ice cream shop, something felt off. The air was heavy, filled with an unease that prickled at the back of his neck.
Bye, are you okay?
Zara asked, noticing his sudden stillness.
Yeah, just a little tired, I guess.
He said, forcing a smile.
Let's get that ice cream.
Inside the shop, the cool air was a welcome relief from the afternoon heat. The vibrant colors of the ice cream flavors lined the walls like a rainbow, and the smell of waffle cones filled the air. Armaan could almost forget his worries as Zara bounced in front of the counter, her enthusiasm infectious.
2 scoops of chocolate chip mint, please.
She declared, her voice bright.
Coming right up.
The cashier replied, flashing a smile. Armaan watched Zara as she danced on her toes, her excitement palpable.
I'll get the cones.
He said, stepping back to let her savor the moment. As he waited, his thoughts drifted back to the device. Would it hum again? Would he be pulled away from this moment, just as he had been before?
Here you go, hee hee.
Zara's voice pulled him from his reverie, and he turned to see her holding 2 perfectly swirled cones.
Looks amazing.
He said, taking one from her. They took their cones outside, sitting on a bench under the shade of a large tree. As they licked their ice cream, Zara chattered on about her plans for the school art show.
Brother, you have to come. I want you to see my painting. It's going to be the best.
Of course, I'll be there.
He promised, though his heart felt heavy.
I wouldn't miss it for the world.
As they enjoyed their ice cream, the world seemed to fade away. But just as he was about to relax, the device vibrated again, a low hum that sent a shiver down his spine.
Armaan?
Zara's voice broke through his thoughts.
Are you sure you're okay?
Yeah, just a little chilly.
He lied.
Seriously, you're acting so weird today.
She said, her brows knitting together in concern.
Maybe I'm just getting old.
He joked, trying to lighten the mood.
You're not old. You're like, what, 22? Hee hee.
She said, laughing.
23, thank you very much.
He replied, feigning indignation. They finished their ice cream, the sweetness lingering on their tongues, but the tension still hung in the air like a storm cloud waiting to burst. When they returned home, Armaan slipped into his room, the device weighing heavily in his pocket. He pulled it out, staring at it under the dim light.
What do you want from me?
He whispered, frustration building. Suddenly, the door creaked open, and Zara peeked in.
Bye. Are you coming out?
Just a second.
He called, shoving the device back into his pocket. When he emerged, he found her flipping through a photo album in the living room. The pictures captured moments from their childhood, birthdays, holidays, family gatherings. A wave of nostalgia washed over him, bittersweet and painful.
Look at this one.
Zara exclaimed, pointing to a picture of them at the beach, sand clinging to their feet.
We were so small.
Armaan smiled, but the laughter felt hollow.
Yeah, good times.
Brother, what's really going on?
She asked, her voice soft but firm. He sighed, sitting down beside her.
I don't want anything to change. I need to know that I can keep you safe.
Safe from what?
She pressed, her eyes searching his face.
From everything. From life. From losing you again.
Zara's expression softened, her hand reaching out to squeeze his.
You won't lose me, brother. You saved me. You're my hero.
Hero? Hardly.
He muttered, staring down at the album.
But you are. You did something amazing.
I don't want to mess it up.
He admitted, his voice barely above a whisper.
Mess what up?
He hesitated, the weight of his choices heavy on his shoulders.
I used a device to change what happened. Maybe it wasn't supposed to happen that way.
Zara's eyes widened.
You mean like time travel?
Something like that?
He replied, a lump forming in his throat.
Brother, don't be silly. You can't mess with time.
I know. I didn't think it would matter, but what if it does? What if by saving you, I've ruined something else?
Zara furrowed her brow, processing his words.
You did it for me, and that's what matters. You saved my life.
Yeah, but at what cost?
He murmured, feeling the weight of despair settle in. Suddenly, the device vibrated again, a pulse that felt like a heartbeat against his leg. He jumped to his feet.
I need to go back.
Back where?
Zara asked, confusion etched on her face.
To the alley. I have to know I changed.
He said, determination settling in.
Brother, you can't.
Zara, I have to. I need to understand what I've done.
Please don't. What if it's dangerous?
He met her gaze, the urgency in his heart clashing with the fear in her eyes.
I can't just ignore this. What if we lose everything?
Then let's figure it out together.
She pleaded, standing up.
I can't put you in danger again.
He said, his voice firm.
Then I'm coming with you.
Zara,
No. You can't just leave me behind. You're my brother, and I want to help.
fine, but stay close to me, understood?
Understood.
She said, her voice a mix of excitement and fear. They rushed to the alley, the rain from yesterday still lingering in the corners like a memory. The device pulsed in Armaan's pocket, almost eager to be used again.
Are you ready? He asked, glancing at Zara. She nodded, her expression serious. Just promise me you'll be careful.
Just. Promise me you'll be careful.
I promise.
He said, though doubt gnawed at him. He took a deep breath and pressed the button. The world around them twisted and blurred once more, colors bleeding together like an abstract nightmare. When the world settled again, they stood in front of the same street corner, but the air felt different, charged electric. Armaan glanced at Zara, who looked equally bewildered.
Where are we?
She whispered, glancing around.
I think this is right before the accident.
He murmured, his heart racing. Suddenly, a familiar car sped past them, and Armaan's heart dropped.
There!
He shouted, pointing.
I see it!
Zara gasped, her eyes wide.
Zara, we need to stop it!
He yelled, adrenaline surging through him. They sprinted down the street, trying to catch up, but the car was moving too fast. He could hear the screech of tires, the sound echoing in his mind like a death knell.
Brother Armaan! What do we do?
Zara shouted, panic creeping into her voice.
Zara, stay back!
He warned, pushing her toward the sidewalk.
Brother!
But he was already running into the street, his heart pounding in his chest as he reached for the car. If he could just... A blaring horn pierced the air, and Armaan's breath caught in his throat. Time seemed to slow as the car careened toward him, and he felt the ground shake beneath his feet.
Armaan!
Zara screamed, her voice filled with terror. In one desperate moment, he lunged forward, reaching out with everything he had. The world around him blurred again, colors swirling into a vortex of chaos, and then silence. When he opened his eyes, he was back in the alley, the familiar hum of the device settling into a soft thrum. Zara stood beside him, her face pale, eyes wide with fear.
Did it work?
She asked, her voice trembling.
I don't know.
he said, looking around as the world felt eerily still.
I think we're back, but
Brother, what happened to the car?
I don't know. I thought I could stop it.
He said, frustration bubbling to the surface.
Maybe we did. Maybe we changed something.
Maybe.
He muttered, uncertainty gnawing at him. They turned to leave the alley, but as they stepped onto the street, a chilling realization hit him. The world around them was different. Too quiet, too empty.
Where is everyone?
Zara asked, her voice barely above a whisper. Armaan's heart raced as he glanced at the buildings lining the street. They looked familiar, yet something felt wrong. He urged, his stomach twisting in knots. They rushed through the streets, but each step felt heavier than the last. The sun hung low in the sky, but the streets were devoid of life. No laughter, no chatter, just an unsettling silence. When they reached their house, Armaan's heart sank. The door stood ajar, but it felt like a tomb.
Ma. Baba.
He shouted, dread wrapping around him like a vice.
Brother Armaan. What's wrong?
Zara asked, her voice shaking.
Nothing. I need to check inside.
He pushed the door open, fear clawing at his insides. The living room was empty, the silence deafening.
Where is everyone?
He repeated, panic creeping into his voice.
Maybe they're just out?
Zara suggested, though her eyes betrayed her worry.
Ma!
Armaan called again, but only silence answered. He rushed through the house, checking every room, every corner, but it was as if they had vanished into thin air.
This doesn't make sense.
He shouted, frustration boiling over.
Brother, maybe we should go back. To the alley.
Zara said, her voice small.
Back? No! I can't go back. I can't lose you too.
Please! We need to figure out what's happening.
With a heavy heart, he nodded. Together, they made their way back to the alley, the device humming ominously in his pocket. As they entered, Armaan felt a chill run down his spine. The stranger appeared once more, leaning against the wall, a smirk playing on his lips.
Thought you could cheat fate again?
The stranger taunted, his gravelly voice dripping with disdain.
What have you done?
Armaan demanded, fury flaring within him.
Nothing. You've done it all on your own.
The stranger replied, his eyes glinting with amusement.
Where is my family?
Armaan shouted, desperation creeping into his voice. The stranger shrugged, a wicked smile curling his lips.
You saved one life, but you unraveled the threads of others. Your sister is safe, but the cost?
Cost?
Zara echoed, stepping closer to Armaan.
Every choice has a consequence. You sought to rewrite destiny, but the tapestry of fate is delicate.
Armaan felt his heart plummet.
What do I do now?
The stranger leaned forward, his voice low and conspiratorial.
You must accept the pain, lad. Sometimes, the only way forward is through the suffering you've created.
No! I can't just accept this.
Armaan shouted, anger and despair crashing together.
Then you will learn the hard way.
The stranger replied, his eyes cold and unforgiving. As the rain began to fall, soaking the cobblestones beneath them, Armaan dropped to his knees, the weight of his choices crashing down around him. He could feel the device vibrating, a reminder of what he had done, what he had lost.
Zara.
He whispered, looking up at her.
I'm here, brother.
She said, her voice steady despite the chaos surrounding them.
I'm so sorry.
He breathed, tears spilling down his cheeks.
I wanted to save you, but I didn't think.
It's okay.
she said, kneeling beside him.
You did what you thought was right.
But at what cost?
He choked out, burying his face in his hands.
Brother, we can figure this out together.
She said, her hand on his back, offering comfort. The stranger's laughter echoed in the alley, a cruel reminder of the choices they had made.
You cannot escape the threads of destiny. You can only learn to navigate them.
As the rain poured down, washing away the remnants of their hopes, Armaan realized the truth. He could not rewrite the past, nor could he escape the consequences of his actions. All he could do was accept the pain and move forward, no matter how difficult it may be.
Zara, I promise I'll find a way to make this right.
He said, determination seeping into his voice.
Together.
She replied, her eyes unwavering. They stood together in the rain, a brother and sister bound by love, facing the uncharted waters of fate. It would not be easy, but they would navigate the storm together, their bond unbreakable, even in the face of destiny's cruel whispers. And as the rain fell around them, they embraced the uncertainty of the future, ready to face whatever came next.
Name us past a matrix chain. We're puppets in a cosmic show. Who pulls the strings we may never know? Could be an alien hand, a god unseen, or just some data in a virtual dream. Glitches flash, we see the scenes. Bizarre moments caught between our screams. Echoes of